What is up, everybody? Master Darkpoi Gaming. I am Darkpoi and welcome to my channel. This is the latest episode in the side-by-side series featuring Paul Ulibarri, the 2015 Worlds at Deer Lakes Park. Deer Lakes Park is my local course and I absolutely love playing there. It's rated as one of the best courses in Pennsylvania. If you're in Western Pennsylvania area, you should absolutely stop by to play it. It's a fantastic place to play. On the left over here, you're going to see my Deer Lakes Park layout. It is the closest thing I could find to replicating the holes in Deer Lakes Park, and let me just tell you, it's quite difficult to either find a hole that's exactly like one that's at your local course, or to find ones that match up with the distance and the par stroke. So here we go, Deer Lakes Park, Darkpoi Park, side by side. As always, if you enjoy this type of content and can like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. It definitely helps me grow the channel. Now, holes 1 and 2 I thought were pretty self-explanatory, especially 2. I thought that laid out absolutely perfectly. I couldn't find a better hole replacement. Hole 3 was going to be a little bit more difficult because at Deer Lakes Park, you have this long tunnel shot. It's straight. Both sides of the fairway are covered in trees. There's no OB on either side. However, it is quite difficult, and I felt that this hole was the perfect representation, not only for distance, got the par 5, and got that narrow, straight tree shot that I was looking for. Here we got a nice open shot into a field. At Deer Lakes Park, you have to go either forehand or backhand around those trees in the middle. But once you're out, you're into a nice open field, and you got a long putt, but if you have a great drive, you should be able to get up close to the basket. This hole was a great representation for Deer Lakes Park because it's an ace run, and it's downhill. You have to cut through many trees to get down there. A lot of people find this hole to be quite irritating because it's very easy to smack a tree. And in Disc Golf Valley, it's also very easy to overthrow or mess up that shot. Now imagine you have a Mando here on this tree that I just passed. That's kind of how Deer Lakes Park is set up for this dogleg right. And where the water is in the Disc Golf Valley course is where the OB is in Deer Lakes Park. And so you kind of have to throw a forehand shot or a flex roller or just a weird kind of shot to hit that dogleg right. But if you do, it's actually not that difficult of a hole. Here you have what I consider to be the hyzer spike shot of Deer Lakes Park. You have to throw to a downhill shot. It's not crazy hard or really far, but if you overthrow and roll down the hill that you see Paul Ulibarri standing with his back up against there, you'd find out that it's a crazy death roll and it would easily ruin your day. We got this easy, up shot here for hole 8. I picked this one because it's got the raised basket, and that road back there is OB. The guardian trees kind of represent the raised basket a little bit, so I feel like that was pretty decent. Hole 9 is a par 5. You got to throw through a kind of a tunnel of trees. It's not that bad. Once you get out into the open field, though, you have to get through the open field into the mouth of this open area. You can't see it that well, but there's a pavilion over there that's OB. And just like you see Paul doing here, if you roll that roller and you roll down this hill, if it goes too far, it's really bad. So, you could end up down by the road very far. He's lucky he didn't roll further than he did. The fact that he was able to throw that up there and save for the bird was still amazing. At Deer Lakes, that hill that's directly in front of you is much more imposing than it seems, but as long as you get a nice open shot up the hill, you got a nice forehand approach, or flex backhand to get over by the basket. I liked the Maple Hill hole here because if you overthrow like Paul did and you end up in the road, that's OB. And just like here, if you don't hit this, open little green shot correctly, you could end up OB. And I really felt like the distance was really on par there. Alright, going into hole 11, this is an aceable hole. However, it's quite difficult. The basket placement is on a hill. You have to cut through many trees to get down there. That shot that Paul just made there was a fantastic shot. I know it doesn't seem like it, but that shooting from down there in that creek is devastating. Alright, we got the big forehand shot in my opinion at Deer Lakes Park. You can do flex backhand if you're good at that. You can do forehand if you're good at it. But what you don't want to do is run the putt and miss. Him having to go shoot for that up shot from down there is brutal. I have been there myself many a times because I'm terrible at disc golf, but that's okay. Anyway, going on to hole 13, this was a great representation here because you got these trees in your drive. If you hit a tree, you're in a terrible position. If you don't, you still got to climb yourself out to this, plateau area that's up here. It can be a fun but also very technical hole. I call this hole the double bump. So directly in front of the T-pad there's a dip down in, and if you roll down in there, hit a tree, roll down in there, you're going to have a really bad day on this hole. If you make it across there and get over to the edge here, this is where you find the representation of the Disc Golf Valley hole so good, because this bump that's straight directly is the one that Paul just threw out of. And if you get a great shot over to this first bump area, throw over the hill, you can actually eagle this hole, but it is not an easy play. I loved how when Paul shot, he skipped off the water, and you can see he's just like, oh, did it make it? And when I threw, I was like, I really think I might go into the water. And if you didn't know, when I do these types of videos, they're all for fun for me. So, I don't really go back and reshoot them. I just play them the way they are, and it is what it is. And I thought that was kind of cool that on that hole that we both ended up like just skitching by the water. So this is the uphill dogleg left. I hate this hole. This hole is the bane of my existence. As a right-hand backhand thrower, I can never play this hole correctly, even though it's a dogleg left. You gotta throw through a tunnel of trees. It's a nightmare. This is a great representation. Even though at Deer Lakes Park it's kind of a downhill throw, and in Disc Golf Valley I picked an uphill throw, both these distances are correct, and they both play almost exactly the same. This one's probably my second favorite hole, the way that it lined up, because that road that you see there at Deer Lakes Park, it's out of bounds, and the sidewalk into the left is out of bounds. The way this hole plays is very similar to hole 18 at Deer Lakes Park, and I thought that was kind of perfect. You can see Uli tapped in off camera, gave his homie a high five. If you enjoy this type of content, if you could like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, and hopefully I will see you in the future.